Hey friends, it's Jenny, and look at all this color that I have on my mat. Welcome to the first in what I'm planning on having be a three-part series that I am calling Pink Lemonade. Now, if you've watched our unboxings, you will have seen these. You may also even already have these if you had participated in snagging some of the anniversary bundles from Beadbox Bargains. But this is the Malibu Dreams collection, and this is the Citrus Grove collection. And both Becky and I bought the Malibu Dreams, and then the Citrus Grove came out, and it was very non-metal heavy, so there's a ton of great beads, and also I like yellow better than Becky does, so I got this one. So I unboxed this one, Becky unboxed this one, and as soon as they announced this yellow one, right after having purchased the pink one, my first thought was how much I wanted to combine these two. And in fact, thinking about Pink Lemonade. And so that is what I'm going to do this week. I am going to go ahead and have 3 different parts. I'm going to start with one of Jenny's bracelet trios, where I'm going to make a pink bracelet and a yellow bracelet, or a citrus bracelet, and then combine the 2 colorways in a central bracelet, like I do for my bracelet trios. That's going to be this part 1. Part 2, I'm going to make a couple of necklaces that kind of play a little bit back and forth between the 2, one leaning pink, one leaning yellow, but enjoying what each other has to offer. And then I figured I'd just round it all out with just a fun earring blitz. Just put together all different kinds of combinations. I don't even know how many earrings I'm going to do, but look for that towards the end of the week. So yeah, that is the idea. This is Pink Lemonade because that's what these boxes said to me, and I think it's really fun to combine things. I also think that this is a really great way if, for example, you got both of these bundles and you wanted to look for different ways to use the beads in them, then you can follow some of my designs. If you didn't get either or just got one of these bundles, this might give you some ideas on how you can pull from your existing stash to liven up a collection you already have, whether it's one of these or another one that you're just like, I'm not quite sure what to do with the rest of these beads. Maybe this will spark some of that kind of creativity and say, hey, I have something kind of like that. I wonder if I can pull this color that I really love in with this other one that I already have. So I'm just hoping it inspires you and that you have fun. And that you enjoy hanging out with me while I make. So this is way too much going on for actually making right now. So let me get out the beads I think I want to use for the bracelet trio. And I reserve the right to change my mind and be right back here. Okay, I think I am ready to start playing. I've been waiting for this. Becky got this beading wire for me. It's the yellow lemon quartz. And I figured if I was going to make yellow lemonade, I needed to use this beading wire. So I am going to use this beading wire for all 3 bracelets. It might look a little funny with the pink, but I think because it is meant to be a coordinating set, it's going to be just fine. I am going to be finishing with the same magnetic clasps so that these bracelets can stack all together. They can be worn as a choker length necklace or put all 3 together into a longer necklace. That is one of the things I do with my bracelet trios. So going to use that. And let's just talk about some of the things that I have here. For the beads on the pink side, I've got these bubblegum pink, which I just feel like I have to use. I took these were links, and I took out the wire because I don't know if it's safe for me to use or not. And I'm just using these, they're flat, so they'll just sit on either side of, I think, the starfish focal that I want to use. I got some of these shell pearls, man-made shell pearls to be used as an accent because I am using these pearls here. I might use some of those. I also have these very light pink lined bite cones that I think will be fun. I don't remember if they came in the kit or if I just put them in the box because I got some and I thought they would look lovely. It is possible that I just added them from some other order. In which case, you know, you probably have something similar that you can use if you like this. Like I said, I don't remember that actually being in the box. But I didn't do that unboxing, so I don't know. And then on the yellow side, I've got what they call lemon jade, which is really just serpentine, but this is a yellow leaning serpentine instead of the green that is often called peace jade. So I've got that. And then also same, but different. These are also being called lemon jade serpentine. And these are just faceted rondelles. So those might be kind of fun. I've got these lemon meringue, kind of satiny colored rondelles here. And then for some accents, I've got one of these little pave beads. You'll see more of this in a little bit. And then a couple of daisies and leaves that I think might be a cute focal for the lemon bracelet. So let's get started. Let's get started. I'm going to move my yellow guys up, and we're going to start with the pink one. And like I said, that might look a little weird using the bright yellow wire, but it's okay. It's all going to come together, I promise. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do for the third bracelet when we get to it. It is going to incorporate some of the beads you saw in both sides, as well as a different setup for that focal area on those. So now when I make a bracelet, I generally, because I'm designing, I haven't like measured out all of my beads and designed everything super precisely. I usually start from the middle of the bracelet and I design on the spool. So I'll design one half of the bracelet and then crimp that off, get the rest of the wire, and string the other half of the bracelet once I've figured out my design. Some of the tools that I'm going to be using are the magical crimper for crimping said bracelets. We're going to be doing 6 crimps total, so there's going to be a lot of that. I have some plier set, the casual comfort pliers, both the round nose pliers and the chain nose pliers, so that I can open and close jump rings to attach my closures, and flush cutters for cutting the wire. I am using Soft Flex crimp tubes, and as I mentioned earlier, Soft Flex medium wire. These are 2x2 crimp tubes. That's the size that needs to be used with the magical crimper. And the magical crimper is also for 0.018 to 0.019 diameter wire, and this is 0.019, so it is perfect for that. So let's get started. Now this color is not available anymore to buy directly from Soft Flex. Becky did find a source for it, so if you like this, I am going to have a link to where you can find it in the description. This is a recent thing that she got for me because she knows I like yellow. She doesn't, but she got it for me. So I love it. I love it. And I think that this starfish needs to have some small beads on either side of it just to kind of help fill in some of the space, like there where its feet are, and then when it comes out this other end of the starfish. So that's going to be there. And then I'm going to string these guys on so that the shell, the fan part of the shell, is facing away from the starfish, like this. And that can twist around, but when it's resting on your wrist, this part of the shell is flat, so you can very easily get it into position, get it to stay there. It's just going to keep wanting to flip the wrong way while I'm making. And that's okay. We don't have to be mean about it. You just might not see the little shell on that because it's turned itself upside down again already while I'm stringing. And at this point, I'm just kind of auditioning things on the strand and seeing how I like it. This is where, if I hate the yellow wire, where I might decide to change it for this bracelet, but I would like all 3 of them to use the same wire. So I am trying it on this to make sure, and I think I do like it. But I definitely wanted to use some of this bubblegum pink because this is a distinctly pink bracelet. And I know a lot of people, when they got this, they called it coral pink on the packaging, and it's not coral. It's not coral, friends. That is bubblegum. And I know some people weren't sure how they wanted to use the bubblegum. So I am intentionally using it in this design because I think it's a fun color, but also it might give you ideas. on how do you incorporate it, how do you soften it so that it doesn't just look like you spilled out a bunch of Pepto-Bismol, you know? There are choices that you can make. One of those things you can do is give it a little bit of separation. So I have it separated with not just these pearls, but these little lined bicones, so that it's a little pop of color instead of just a whole spill of color, like when you look at the whole pile of them together. This looks fun and bright, and yeah, a little bit Malibu Barbie. But if a color is overwhelming you, try just giving it a little bit of space, either with a complementary color or a contrasting color, something that, you know, you give it a moment to shine and suddenly it's not a problem. And I'm just getting an idea on length. Just kind of seeing how this fits. See, as soon as I set it on my wrist, that turned the right way. So it does work. It does work, I promise, because it wants to lay flat. Yep, just did it again. So on my mat, it's like, no, I'm going the other way. That doesn't work. I probably should get out a bead stopper. Oops. I don't need a whole lot of space for this this clasp, and so I'm probably going to do a little bit more. I don't need to leave myself an inch. I don't think it'll even take an inch. I need to get a different mat for when I'm filming because this one is all in millimeters. So, whoops, I'm sorry. Still getting used to that. But I do have a tape measure here. So here's my clasp, and if you count in jump rings and loops, it might barely take an inch, but I like my bracelets to fit loose, especially when I'm stacking 3 together. So I want to give myself more space. So I'm probably only going to count, well, an inch, but I'm going to give myself an extra half an inch to make sure that I have more give. So I'm only going to, yeah. It's hard to explain. So like, here's my wrist. If I was going to just measure it, that is 7 inches to fit snug, 7.5 to be fairly loose. It moves, but it stays in place. 8 is also an acceptable length for me because it's not going to come off my wrist. So if the inside diameter doesn't exceed 8 inches, that between 7 and 8 is snug to comfortable to starting to be loose on my wrist. So that's what I'm going for. And so because of that, I'm looking for a beaded length, if I'm gonna have it fit the way I want it to, of at least 18 centimeters. So a beaded length of 18 centimeters. So that I have a little bit, my clasp will fit within that range that I was talking about. So I have misjudged bracelet lengths before and made them too snug, and that to me is a lot more uncomfortable than something that's a little bit more loose and jangly. And again, since I plan on stacking these, it gives me a lot of latitude for space. So if I want 18 centimeters, then I need half of this bracelet to be 9 centimeters. And this puts me at 10. I'm halfway through my, sorry. Let me show you what I'm doing over here. So I have my starfish positioned so that it's half of it is at the 0. And my beaded length right now is just shy of 10 centimeters. So if I remove this bead, that's going to be 9. So if it's doubled, that will be 18, which is what I was aiming for my beaded length. I think when I've made bracelets before and misjudged it, I would aim for 16 beaded length, and that was too short. And those couple extra centimeters do make a difference for the comfort on my wrist. So I am going to end right here. So I've got 3 each of the plain pearls, these shell pearls, and then 3 each of the bubblegum pink on either side of the starfish. And then of course, one of the decorated pearls. So I'm gonna use these gold crimps. As I said, you do need to use a 2x2 crimp tube to work with the magical crimper. The brand doesn't necessarily matter, but the quality does. So you want to make sure that you have a good quality crimp tube, one that has a decent size wall. Don't know if you can see that. Yep. A decent size wall, because if it's a really thin wall, then your crimp is just going to crumble underneath the crimper, and that's no fun. So what you want to do is you want to take your magical crimper and see where there's that kind of divot, this concavity inside. You're going to center your crimp tube inside that. Just make sure it's centered, give it a little squish, and it will pinch down the 4 corners of your crimp tube. Make a little ravioli, turn it 90 degrees so it's straight up and down inside your crimper. Again, make sure that that is centered, and give it another squish. And then from here, I just kind of open my pliers just a little bit and rotate it around and keep squishing it until I don't have any resistance. I've found that for me, because I am new at this, that I am better at keeping it centered if I don't actually remove it from within the crimper. It's just one of the things that has helped me adjust to it and get better at using them. So snip that off. And see, I just did a small loop because I'm going to use a jump ring to connect that to my clasp. Snip off the excess wire, and then we're going to take this and we're just going to double it over. There's our center. Double it over and give myself another probably about 2 to 2.5 inches so that I have room to comfortably crimp. And I'm just stringing the rest of this, matching what I did on the other side. So get my my bead that used to be a link and putting it so that the fan faces out. So it's the opposite of what I did on the other side. And just continuing the same pattern of bicones, bubblegum, bicone again, and then pearl until I have matched the other side. And then I'll just crimp this one. And then I will wear this bracelet while we make the yellow one, because that's what I do. I just start stacking them on as I make them. Welcome to Jenny's Bracelet Trio. It's a format that I'm doing. It's not exactly learning a new type of thing every time, but it's showing how you can do it with different collections, but also how to make a versatile convertible piece of jewelry that you can use in a variety of ways, but you can basically do this with any collection you have. I just like to feature the ones that I'm having fun with, like these guys making my pink lemonade, so that you can see. And I'm gonna do a fit check before I do that last crimp. Just gonna slide that through that loop, pull it onto my wrist, and see how close that is. See, that actually meets right there. So when I add in the clasp, it might actually be a little bit too loose, but probably not loose enough to roll off my hand. So that, but this is just a tiny bit snug for me if I did it directly like this. Like, I want it to move freely on my wrist, and that one's got a little bit of a cling to it. So I'm going to go ahead and crimp this other side the exact same way I did the first side. And I like the yellow with this. It might look like it doesn't belong because this is all pink, but we're using the golds and things like that, and I feel like the yellow fits, especially when you combine it with the rest of this design. It just works. I'm getting a little bit of a curl on my bracelet so that it's not stiff. And what I'm doing this time that's a little bit different is because this is the last crimp that I'm doing on this, I need to close this space, and I am going to be crimping right up against these other beads. And so I am getting it close to that bicone, but because I don't want to break my bicone, I'm making sure that I have a little bit of space. Like, I'll use my nail to wiggle in there and get a little bit of room. I'm actually trying to pull it down because I want the crimp closer. So here's the crimp close, and then I wiggle my thumb in here, and this loop is still just a little bit too big, so then I'm just going to give a little tug here to get that loop smaller, closer to what I want, but there's still space between that bicone and the crimp tube so that when I do my crimp, get this in here, make sure it's good. I still have clearance from that. Just another little adjustment so that I don't break my my bead. Whatever bead you have nearby, just protect it. Make sure you've got the room for the jaws of the crimper to do what it needs to do. And I didn't pull it out and show you this time because it basically otherwise crimping exactly the same as before. And you still end up with this smooth little ball of crimp that is a nice strong crimp and will hold. So, whoop, there went that wire. Okay. You know what I did not get out was my, where are my golds? I'm in a new space. I had all of my jump rings here, and then I think I moved some things, and now I don't know where my other containers of jump rings are. I have the silver with, oh, here they are. I did put them in a drawer. I thought I did, but it didn't pull out. So yeah, they went farther in the drawer than I thought. So I'm just gonna take some of these in here with these big guys. There are some little guys. No, my little guys are all in the next door one. I have to remake my jump rings because I have a lot of different sizes and colors. I got so excited because I found like nickel-free jump rings that I'm like, yes, get all the jump rings, all of them. All of them. So I need a total of 6. And I think that these will be fine. If not, I can step up the size by 1. So when I attach my magnetic clasps, I go ahead and leave them connected to each other so that they're already going to be attracted to my pliers, but this way they don't just clamp on. The magnet is actually engaged to itself. So I can put that on there, swing open my jump ring, put on my bracelet, and then one end of the magnetic clasp. Just slide that in there, pop it in. Yep, this is just the right size of this jump ring. And I'm just using the tip of my magical crimper to be my second set of pliers for opening and closing jump rings. Because sometimes that is the most convenient thing. You just want to make sure that your jump ring closes all the way so that your soft flex wire does not escape. Because it's medium, but it's still fine enough that it can work through a jump ring that's not quite closed all the way. So just make sure that you've got it. Put this on, and then just taking the other side of my bracelet because I've got that magnetic clasp attached already. Just popping that on and closing it up. Let's see how I did on fit. I will adjust subsequent bracelets if this is way loose, but I think that this is going to be, because if you measure the beaded length that I did, see, that's what happened. My beaded length wasn't 18 centimeters, it was like 18 3/4. So I have almost another centimeter there that I wasn't accounting for, and it is a little bit loose. It's not going to slide off of my hand without me like trying to get it off my hand, so it will stay. But again, it will kind of wind with the other ones when I'm stacking all 3 together. So I'm not mad about this. I'm not mad about that. And as I said, these pearls, they want to lay flat. So that's not something I'm having to fuss with or constantly correct. So I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, let's move these pink guys out of the way. We might use some of them in that center bracelet, but I don't know yet. And the pearls. And we're gonna move down my lemon accents. And I think I'm gonna use these guys and these guys. maybe a few of these. I have more of them that I can get. Maybe not those gray ones. They're a little bit too gray. And let's just start playing with it on the wire. See how we're gonna do. I'm not adding a whole lot of metal to either of these bracelets. I'm letting the kind of beads do their thing and using the spacers and stuff that I have, whether they're the bicones or these little rondelles, and just going from there. But I am gonna start with the center, and I think I'm gonna use that as the center with one of these guys on either side. Let me see how I like it with those two together, or do I want one of the little meringue guys there instead so that it gives a little bit more pop? That does give it a little bit more pop. Okay, and then I'm going to hang one of my leaves, and these are top drilled, so they hang on the wire like this. So there'll be a little bit of a dangle, and they are the same front to back. So they're etched on both sides. They're plated. They've got the pattern on both sides, and I don't know if I'm going to put the flower on directly. And with these flowers, there's one side that's like this, and then the other side is transparent, so you see the line through it. So if you're wearing the bracelet and you want to flip the flower, you can. But here's kind of the idea I was going with for that, so that we'd have that little bit of a flower dangling, and we'll repeat this on both sides, but this little flower of a dangling leaf, and then a flower bud. And then let's do a little snug. A series of other beads to highlight the kind of green, yellow tones that we get with this lemon jade. And that'll come around the other side. So we'll have a little bit more brightness here in the middle with the pave bead, and then the green leaf and this, but this green leaf is going to help these other greenish toned yellows feel a little bit more comfortable. And I think I'm going to make a small change because I really do like these, and I feel like I need a little bit more separation. I'm gonna change. I feel like they are great spacers, but I don't want them too close. I think I'm gonna do them in series of 3. So we'll have that 3, and then we'll have our flower. I'm not putting that other rondelle there. We'll have our flower, and then 3 more of these. This is the play with beads portion, you know, where you just want to play around, see what works. Okay, let me get this on here and kind of see if this is giving me the right moments that I want on this, where it's less back and forth. See, I like this better. I like this better. It makes our little, you know, flower with leaf stand out a little bit, and then we'll also give these moments. It's also going to be really like nice and soft, and these groupings of 3 kind of mimics the moments we have with our pearls. So it's not an exact thing, but they play well together, and that's all I want from these guys, is to play well together. Let's see what we do. Let's see. All right, I'm going to see where this lands. And again, I'm going to measure this over here in the corner. I'm going to be measuring it from the center of that pave bead at the 0. That's only 7.5. And I'm going to want a little bit more if I do another repeat of what I've got. That's 2. That's going to actually make it really close to the size of my pink bracelet, which is a little bit oversized, but I like to finish patterns, and also I've determined that even though it's oversized, it's acceptable. Let me see what this does. If I don't add the chiffon beads, that's better. So I'm going to crimp here. I'm going to crimp here before adding, I think they're meringue, but the meringue rondelles, I'm going to skip those. Maybe I'll just put one beside the crimp tube. And I'm not going to talk you through this one, but I am going to go ahead and do it here, not fast forwarding through it. So if you want to watch me crimp again, you are welcome to do so. Again, I'm trying to mimic the same size as I used before. And just making myself a little crimp. Don't rush, just make sure that you are centered, and go from there. Yep, tiny little ball of crimp. I keep shooting myself with the wire. My bad. And then let's get another section ready to string. And I'm just, again, duplicating what I did on the other side so that I can have my happy little pave bead, my little sun shining. Because that's to me, that's my sun shining, the blossoms are blooming, and the citrus is ripening. Very fun. Oops, I forgot one of the serpentine rondelles. Those two actually stuck together, but that's okay because I'm doing them in groups of 3. So I don't even have to separate those guys. They can keep hanging out with their friends. All right, I think that this is where I just put one more of those little guys. Yep, one more of these little guys, and then I'll crimp it. Just double checking that this is going to fit similarly to my pink bracelet. Very similar, but maybe a little bit even looser than the pink one. So I am going to take off the little meringue guy on both ends and restring this, which will take a minute. So I am going to go ahead and pause this since I am choosing to restring, and I will be right back once I've got it restrung. Okay, I have that restrung, and I am going to do this last crimp. Sorry, my phone was wobbling from turning it back on. And like on the other side, I am wanting to make sure that I crimp as close to that bead as I can without endangering that bead. We don't need that stone to crunch. I've got myself a little bit of a gap so that when I do this, I have the room to do what I need. And I'm just going around until I don't feel that resistance anymore. Sometimes I get it in fewer squeezes than others, but I just do it until it makes me happy. I am not in a rush, not enough to skimp on it. I was being stubborn. Okay, let's get our other clasp attached. And we will be done with bracelet number 2. Bracelet number 2. Whoops. Helps if you don't drop everything. It's very small, so, you know, there's a little bit of a, it's easy to tip it out. At least I was still holding it with the other side. My crimpers. Not liking that it's not closing pretty. Close pretty. Okay. All right. And because the pink, I think, does fit a little bit more loosely than this yellow one, I am choosing to have that one be closer to my arm rather than my hand, because that's the part of my wrist that, you know, naturally tapers wider as, you know, you go up your arm. But here is bracelet number 2. Look at them together. I love them. I love that the pave in here kind of echoes the gold tones that we have from our starfish. These do not feel like they don't belong together. They absolutely belong together. So, shall we make them a third? I think we should make them a third. I've got 2 on, and it's time to make number 3. So here's what I'm thinking for number 3. Let's get these guys out. Bring our other guys to the party. I'm still going to use some of these other items, but exactly how, I'm not sure. I'm going to do this grouping of 5 pave beads and space them with other friends from our previous bracelets. Maybe some of these guys, maybe some of these guys, maybe these guys, and some of these guys. So we're just going to play with these on the strand and see what we like, because all of these tones are really going to help play with each other, but also they included these pave beads in 2 different sizes between the 2 bundles. And how could I not? How could I not like choose to make something really fun with these? So again, we're going to start with the center, which is going to be this pave bead here. These other 2 will get added when we string the other side. And let's just go for it. Let's just go for it. So I think this guy, because I like to alternate. Like if I'm going to have yellow here, I don't want yellow right up against it. I'm going to use these little bicone spacers, right? And then maybe one of these before we put on the pink pave. And then another one of those, and a pink bicone, and a yellow pave, jonquil pave, with a pink bicone on the other side of it. So this is like 1/2 of the focal area of the bracelet. Look at how sparkly they are. Okay, yeah, I just have to like do that for a little while. But see how they kind of let each other shine, give each other their moments by bracketing them with the opposite color. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead from there. I'm going to be doing a similar thing, but with the other larger beads. So I'm going to have one of these guys, and then I might put one of these, and then one of these, but then I need some of these guys. And just kind of see what I come up with that is going to feel like it's making a thing happen. Do I like this? I do kind of like that. Look how it plays with these. The other question would be, instead of using these, I can lean into the softer yellows that we get from the rounds and use these guys. Oh, that was too stuck together. I'll deal with them later. I'll give them a stern talking to. Do these guys on either side instead of those bolder yellow. Oh, I'm thinking maybe, because then we do this. Yep, I like that better. I like that better. So I'm going to use these soft yellows on either side of the pink instead of the bolder stone rondelles. I feel like this is playing nice better. And just doing a quick check to see, oh, I put 2 of those rondelles together. I don't need 2 there. I need 1 on either side of it. And then let's see if I can get another pink. Because this one, there's going to be less pattern on the sides because our focal area is longer, intentionally so. But let me see how that pattern fits with our desired length. I think that's it. I think that's 1/2 of the bracelet. And again, to stack with these guys. Yes, 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 yes. I need to get out 2 more crypt tubes. Or a pile of them. I'll put them away after. And crimping this side, same as we did before. Did you notice that each subsequent bracelet goes faster because I'm getting into a flow creatively? I get an idea with the first one, how I want to do, and then I build off of that design idea for the second, and then I combine elements of all 3 for the third. And I did do a little bit of planning, like for the focal areas on each, but as far as what I'm doing along the sides and the beads that I'm using for that has been mostly just as I'm playing with the beads, as I'm getting them on my string and seeing what they want to do. And I think that that is being very successful for me. Look at this. I don't think that's quite, yeah, that's not. It hadn't quite finished rounding. It was kind of ovally. Yep, that's better. All right, let's get the other half of our beading wire. And I am ending up with some excess, and that's fine. I have lots of this wire. My sister got me 2 30-foot spools, and I love it. I'm so happy that she did. And now I'm just going to repeat what I have on the other side because I can. Because I have the beads to do it. And yes, I still have some of both the pink and yellow pave beads for making earrings when we get to the earring portion of this this series. So you have not seen the end of these pave beads. I've got plenty of girls who want to party. I've got some crystals that are just so ready to do something fun from my yellow box. And yeah, some really bold fuchsia ladies elsewhere. I mean, we're gonna have a good time with these. We're just gonna have a good time. Gosh, I am really liking this. I'm liking how this is coming together. My initial idea was actually gonna go quite a bit bolder, but I'm really happy with what I decided to do with this. It's a little bit softer of an introduction of combining these two. There are some beads that go just amazingly together, and I'm looking forward to using them in a different design during this series. Possibly a necklace. One of my necklaces is going to have some very bold colors, and it's going to be a lot of fun as a result. Okay, this should be my last bead. Again, I'm going to kind of loop it through, double check to make sure I didn't forget anything. I did not forget anything. I'll loop it through over here and slide that onto my wrist and see how it cinches with everything else. See, yeah, that's going to be perfect. Once I get my clasp on there, it's going to fit nicely between those other two bracelets where they all kind of pile in on each other, like they're having a fun pink yellow slumber party. Yep, and see, one of my guys flipped over. So easy to just flip him the other way. Not a big deal. But for the most part, they've been wanting to lay the right way on my wrist. But they do get jostled. They do get jostled. Get a curl in my bracelet, not a straight stick. Pull that down by the bead, put my nail in between and tug. I need to cinch it a little bit more because I want a smaller loop. So a little bit of adjustment. And here we go again. And I'm so glad that Becky got me this yellow wire for this. I was actually going to do this last week, but I saw Colleen over at Colleen Marie, her YouTube channel. I saw her use this yellow lemon quartz, and Becky had said that she had some yellow wire to give me. I'm like, hey Becky, where's that wire? And she's like, well, I'll have to find it. And instead of like digging out and sending it to me from her house, she found a place where she could buy it and had it sent to me. And so I'm like, okay, I am waiting to do pink lemonade until I have this wire, because this wire is going to be so fun to do all of this with. And see, you don't even really notice that the pink is on the yellow because it just all goes together. This is all meant to be all together now. That was the fastest yet of those bracelets. I did use some bigger beads. I also didn't have to restring it. Not that I made you watch me restring, but you know, still, I'm going to set these guys up in a little thing so I don't lose them, my crimp tubes, because I'm done crimping. I'm done crimping, friends. I'm attaching a clasp and putting all three of my bracelets together and then showing you the different ways that you can configure this convertible jewelry. If you haven't seen one of my bracelet trios before, it will be new. If you have, this is going to be familiar, and you'll just get to see how the different configurations look with each other using this colorway, this color combination. My pink lemonade. And doesn't it just look like pink lemonade? I mean, or strawberry lemonade, but I just saw it and thought, pink lemonade. It's just too fun. Too fun. I guess most pink lemonade is actually just plain pink because it's a pink version of lemonade. But you get what I mean. It makes me think of pink lemonade, this color combination. Pink and yellow together, being all happy. Trying to get that, yeah. I thought that wasn't quite closed all the way. Let me just work that a little bit closer. Okay, so this is, stuck to my magical crimper. Let me move the tools out of the way so that it can start behaving with its friends. And then just pop that in here. Cinch it closed, and we've got our trio. How fun is this? How fun is that? I'm really excited. I love it. This pink is definitely, like, I'm looking at the preview on my camera. This is definitely coming through a lot brighter than it is. It's still a bright pink. It is a bubblegum pink, but it's not quite so neon. But let me get these other beads out of the way. I will take this bracelet off so that we can see all of them together, and I'm going to show you the different configurations. I'll put beads away later, but for now, just moving them into another section of my mat is important. Okay, here we go. So this was our first bracelet. We've got our pink starfish with the seashell charms. Okay, and then we added our little sunny floral citrus fun over here. And then we added our ready to party disco balls here. So you can wear them all stacked together. You can wear them as a duo, like I showed you earlier, whether you can mix and match whichever ones you want to do as a duo. But one of the things that I like about doing the bracelet trio is that you can also wear other pieces of jewelry. Let's say, for example, you want to wear this as a bracelet by itself, but you want to wear this as a choker, either direction, with this as the focal or this as the focal. Then you can wear this more like choker, possibly collar length, depending on the size of your neck in relation to the size of your wrist. But for me, this fits a little bit more like a choker, okay? Or you can take this central bracelet and add this in on both sides. Well, heck, you can rotate it any way you want. You can have this be the central with, sorry, I'm going to do it this way, with an asymmetrical design, a longer necklace with an asymmetrical design this way, or this way, or this way. There's so many different ways that you can wear this one set of jewelry. When I do my earring blitz, I will definitely make some earrings, various earrings that will play well with these, so that again you have a lot of versatility. But there's so many different ways that you can wear this, and I like it just all stacked up as a bracelet. And I did this with my when I did this with the GGC treasure bags. I seriously, I wore a bracelet and choker for like 2 days straight, just, you know, doing the different things. But all stacked up, they look fantastic together. Separated out, they look fantastic. And combined in the various different ways that you might want to wear it as a choker or the longer length asymmetrical necklace, you absolutely can. So last look at the bracelet. This has been a lot of fun. I hope you've enjoyed this first part of the Pink Lemonade series, Jenny's Bracelet Trio. And look forward to follow-up parts, you know, in this series this week. I'm hoping to do the necklaces about midweek and the earrings on the weekend. Of course, you know, that is subject to life, as you know, but I think that that's fairly doable. So I hope you liked it. Go ahead, and if you're not already subscribed, hit subscribe, hit like on this video, ring the bell so you know when we have new videos, including the additional parts of this series, and leave us a comment. And I'm looking forward to making more of this with you. So happy beading, and don't forget to play. Bye.